Hello and welcome to the Mizanyo Weekly Football Show, the show where we talk about the biggest talking points in Ugandan football. We bring you previews, reviews, discussions and insights in the hot topics of Ugandan football. And on the show this week, we are going to be talking about the Uganda Cranes that are representing the country down in Egypt. Over the weekend, the Cranes played in their first match in Group A, where they are placed against Democratic Republic of Congo, and they won their first game. This was Cranes' first win in 41 years. That is since 1978, when they won in the semi-finals against Nigeria before they went on to lose to eventual winners Ghana in that tournament. Well, the Uganda Cranes qualified for their second consecutive African Cup of Nations tournament this year. That is after they also qualified for the tournament in 2019. But the historical win gave us a bit of insight in what the Uganda Cranes at what level the Uganda Cranes have got, that is in regards to their continental counterparts. On the show today, we shall be talking about the talking points that we think mattered the most to the Uganda Cranes. The Uganda Cranes handed themselves a sterling start to AFCON 2019 thanks to headed goals from Patrick Kadu and Emmanuel Okwi. They did not have it easy, however, and here are the few talking points from the historical win. Well, first, coach Sebastian Desabre seems to have mastered his starting 11. The fact that most Ugandan observers and pundits could easily predict his lineup proves that the Frenchman went into the tournament well aware of who is to start and when to substitute them. Well, Desabre does not only know them inside out, but it also seems to be that he also has managed to instill his belief and style of play into the team, and they now play his way. Secondly, Lumala seems to be the new revelation for the Uganda Cranes. The 21-year-old was a thorn in the Congolese skin. They struggled to cope with him. His pace, tenacity down the flanks. He almost assisted Uganda's third goal in the 68th minute when he hustled down the right, beating left back Athama Swaku to deliver a nice cross, but Kadu failed to make a telling connection to it. On loan at Syrianska in Sweden's second tier, I wonder whether Kalmar FF will manage to hold on to him if he manages to replicate his blistering form for the Cranes as the tournament progresses. Also in the match, we noticed that Mugabe could be a perfect number 2. Many of the people did not give him a chance, given that he is predominantly a centre-back at Wyouville Town, but Sebastian Desabre chose to use him as a full-back at the expense of the known right-back in the team, Nicholas Wadada. Mugabe initially struggled with the ball, with Bolassi's pace and trickery, but later he grew into the game. He exhibited great composure, calmness and awareness whenever under pressure. He might have won himself a permanent position on the Cranes lineup for a longer time to come. Further still, we also noticed that the Cranes could have mastered dead ball situations. Most of Uganda's goals have come from set play, and yesterday seemed like an execution of a choreographed style of play. Kadu's perfect header and Okwi's dink were not a surprise to many Ugandans, save for the arrogant Congolese. Additionally, Patrick Kadu continues to prove his doubters wrong. Well, every football team has a coach's boy. For Desabre, Kadu is the coach's boy. He knows when to substitute him and when to play him. Not fancied by many to put on the Cranes number 9 on his back, Kadu is slowly but surely winning more hearts to himself every day he plays for the Cranes. He scored the all-important goal that sealed qualification, and he was at it again by scoring Uganda's first goal at the African Cup of Nations in 2019. He also found acres of space in the Congolese box with his intelligent runs in behind the defenders, and he seemed to be a menace to the Congolese defense. Uganda are a fit team. Most of the Uganda Cranes teams of the past have come in for criticism regards their fitness, but it seems this time around the Cranes camp in Abu Dhabi paid fruits, because the Uganda Cranes never seemed to run out of gas to run. On the evening in Cairo, they were the more coherent and dominant team. Lumala, Okwi and Mia made busting runs through the channels and the flanks, combining well with Kadu's clever movements up front. Aucho played like a man with three lungs, whereas Azila, Waswa, Juko, Walusimbi ran their socks off in the match. But still, with Murshid Juko playing very well in the match, we also noticed that he could be an accident waiting to happen. He is definitely Uganda's most reliable centre back, but he needs to learn how to time his tackles, and he also needs to employ a more cautious approach, especially when faced with more clever forwards. He was booked in the 35th minute for a sneaky challenge on Bemba, but shortly before half-time he got lucky to run away with another clumsy challenge on Bolasi, which could have seen him see red. Because with the win, they surely need only a draw against Zimbabwe and Egypt to confirm their place in the knockout phases. But all is not yet done for the Cranes, as they will be playing their second game of the tournament against Zimbabwe tomorrow at 7 p.m. at the Cairo International Stadium. In the game, Uganda will be looking to seal their spot in the knockout rounds of this year's African Cup of Nations when they take on the wounded Zimbabwe team in their second game at the Cairo International Stadium. We all know the Cranes beat DR Congo in their first game, while Zimbabwe fell to hosts Egypt in the tournament opening game. Coach Sebastian Desabre and Captain Denis Onyango have spoken highly of the Zimbabwean side ahead of the clash, highlighting the importance of the game to the campaign, with Onyango stating that Zimbabwe are a very good team with good players, and it will not be easy for the Cranes, but they will need to maintain their focus because their target still remains making it out of the groups. Desabre, on the other hand, quashed reports that he claimed that Zimbabwe are the weakest team in Group A, echoing similar sentiments to his captain Onyango, stating that the game of tomorrow is the important one, but the team are focused on getting the job done. On the other hand, Zimbabwe coach Sande Marimo Chidzambwa said that his side need to forget about the defeat against Egypt and focus on the game against Uganda, because he believes they can pick up a victory against Uganda, although he admits it's another tough game. In the game against Congo, the Cranes looked at having fast transitions which worked to their advantage, as they had much pace up front through Mia, Kadu, and Mia, Lumala, and Okwi. The Cranes also had good interplay between Congo's defensive lines, especially through Mia, and if it wasn't for the failure of the forwards to pick up the right pass or the right option, they could have finished with more goals. Additionally, the long ball up front from Onyango was a clever move, as they managed to beat Congo's high press and create openings in behind. But against Zimbabwe, I think they should switch up a thing or two about their game.